Let's see what this video is. This is from the channel A Call for an Uprising, and it says, I hope you're ready, because you no longer have a choice.
Was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was. Then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling
Illuminati! I have that, right? Illuminati! Check your bingo cards.
our reality since the beginning of time.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna count that as Baja Blasts, too. So if someone wins with Baja Blasts, thanks, band person, for getting someone a bingo.
But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it.
Wait, was
Wake
that
up,
Baphomet pooping in a diaper?
because this is a call for an uprising.
This is A Call for an Uprising. Welcome to today's show. You've got to see this. This is hilarious. I was on CNN looking at the predictive programming, the repetition, the mind control being pushed. And you ever see these ads? They love to do this stuff now,
Send me a master list on Discord? Sure, go for it.
where they give you options, yes or no, or they quiz you or give you trivia. I saw this advertisement. Should I wear a mask? Yes or yes?
Yes, because you should wear a mask so you don't endanger the people around you. The entire point of wearing a mask, or at least a large point of it, is so that if you happen to be a carrier for coronavirus, you're not spreading your gross mouth germs everywhere when you talk or yell at someone. If you're a Karen who yells at people in stores, so while you're breathing, you're not letting a bunch of that stuff out into the environment. Ideally, a lot of it gets caught up in the mask, right? It really isn't anything you should think about that hard. You can think about it if you want, but at the end of the day, it's a courtesy to other people around you because we're in the midst of a global pandemic, and if you're so selfish that you don't think that putting a piece of cloth over your mouth is worth it to save people's lives, then you're a jerk. Then you are basically a 12-year-old whose mom is telling him to go to bed, and you're going, I don't wanna. Too bad. Go to bed, Jimmy. It's too late.
This is what it's come to, where they don't even want you to think you have a choice or an option. They're telling you.
Yes, many places you don't have an option because people like you are so stupid that you made us turn this into an issue where you're being forced to wear a mask, because instead of volunteering to do so like a reasonable member of society who understands that you are not the most important person in the room in every single room you walk into, so now governors, like the governor of the state in which I live, Michigan, have to have mandates, so when you're going out to stores and stuff, you have to wear a mask. Correct.
What you should do. So yes or yes, even though it should be no or F no. Those.
Oh, so you don't even think it should be a yes or no. You just want to force people in the opposite direction in order to force people to endanger themselves and others? That's some galaxy brain stuff right there.
Should be the two options. And I saw underneath it said advertisement. I was like, what is this an advertisement for? So I click on it. Look at this propaganda piece. Remember, I talked about this recently, how they're going through their, the types of mind control they're going to use through the media to shame the audience, to guilt the audience, to embarrass anyone out there who is against wearing a mask or against believing in this, right? Look at this.
There is no being against wearing a mask and being someone who doesn't believe this. You don't get to disagree with whether or not we're having a global pandemic, because we are. That's not a disagreement. That's you being an idiot. And there is a difference, believe it or not. Ask Compu, says sacrifice to Molech.
Absolute garbage propaganda pushed by CNN.
What? What?
A mask can say a lot about the person who wears it. But even more about the person who doesn't.
True. If I see you out in public and you're not wearing a mask, I think you're a monster. Because you are. Because you're showing everyone else that you believe that you are more important than everyone else around you. You believe that the little bit of uncomfortability you're feeling from putting a cloth on your face is more important than the lives of your fellow human being. That is sick.
So, they say a mask can say a lot about a person who wears it. To say what a good person they are, what a good citizen they are.
No, they're making a point because they're saying a mask can say a lot about the person who wears it, and they're showing all kinds of different masks, from like political masks to things like Rick and Morty masks. They literally had one. So they're saying like, hey, you can show like things you're into or interested in or your political stances with this. It's another fashion item. And then they're comparing it and saying, but it also says a lot when you don't, because they're saying that, again, rightfully so, people who see you without a mask in public are going to think you're selfish, self-important, entitled, all things that are reasonable to assume if you go outside during a global pandemic and walk around amongst other people while endangering not only you, but them as well, for absolutely no good reason. Thank you to Daddy Sume with 10 bits. So Hannah, I work at Dunkin' Donuts. I have to wear a mask pretty much all day, and I find that people who won't even put on their masks for the 3 minutes or less they're at the drive-thru window really piss me off. Like, these people are making your food. Why don't you want them to stay healthy? Yeah, people are ridiculous. Masks have been a fashion item in China and Japan for years. Anti-maskers are just an extension of CCP hate. I don't know. I think you're applying too much thought into their want to not wear a mask. It's because it's been politicized by psychos on the right. It's not because they, like, connect it to people in China or something. They're just selfish children.
And and then they wait 10 seconds and they go, it also says a lot about the people who don't wear it.
Correct.
Well, that's not shaming anyone. That's not
It is shaming. You should feel ashamed. Shame on you. Shame on you for promoting not wearing a mask, which should help not only slow the infection and death rate, but help you stay safe as well. It's stupid. It's selfish. It's idiotic. U.S. COVID death rate. We are now at, in the United States, 171,000 deaths from COVID and only 5 million confirmed cases. There's over 300 million people in this country. Imagine as this gets to everyone in the country, how bad it's going to get. Wear a mask. Jeez. At 1,500 a day? Yikes. And it's still creeping up.
Trying to make anyone feel forced into wearing it so they could be politically correct. And
it's not about being politically correct. There's nothing politically correct about following the advice of scientists and doctors. Stop assuming you know better than people who are experts in their field. You're an idiot on the internet, and so am I. But you know what I do? I listen to people who are experts in their fields, and I do what they tell me, because they've spent their entire lives researching these things, and if a virologist says to the general public, hey, you should wear a mask, it helps you and it helps the people around you help stop or slow the spread of this disease. I'm gonna go, you know what? That person's a virologist. That person's a doctor. They're right.
Don't get, scrutinized by anyone in their lives, right? And I'm gonna get into this in a second. I have two things I need to show you. First, I'm just going to remind you of this quote from Dr. Fauci since they show this I love Dr. Fauci thing. And then I'm going to show you something that's going to make you so sick that people should be protesting the CNN. They should be resharing this video. But let's start with Dr. Fauci, who out of his own mouth told us that we don't need to wear masks.
Yeah, this was a stupid thing they did. This was at a time in which masks were getting, like, there were shortages of masks. They were trying to save them for medical professionals who, of course, are going to have higher risk because they're exposed to people with the virus all the time. So, instead of just saying that to people, because, again, people are idiots who will go to the store and buy masks up anyway, they decided to say, hey, it might not help, don't bother, specifically so people in the medical community could get their hands on masks. I think the way they went about it was foolish, but that's the way they went about it. Of course, later, and again, all the time now, everyone is saying, no, masks actually do help in a myriad of ways. It helps stop the spread from your own face holes, and it stops the stuff in the air, if someone like sneezes near you, from getting into your air holes, or at least will help prevent it to an extent. And these things are good, right? Doctors have been wearing face masks as part of their PPE for over 100 years. This is not some placebo effect stuff that they wear for fun.
There's a lot of confusion among people and misinformation surrounding face masks. Can you discuss that?
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
He said right now also. Again, there were shortages for doctors. And now that there aren't, and the production of masks has ramped up, you should wear a mask because it's not going to prevent medical professionals from getting them.
But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
No one said it's perfect, and again, I disagree with how he went about explaining this, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Just because a condom isn't 100% effective doesn't mean you shouldn't wear one.
People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
Yeah, he's explicitly talking about people who use their masks incorrectly.
Can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
Say that.
Yep, that's stupid of him.
That again, Dr. Fauci? I forget because I know I had to remove this video from my other channel, but and just tell us one more time, why don't you?
There's a lot of confusion among people and misinformation surrounding face masks. Can you discuss that?
Right now in the United States.
Oh, he was specifically talking about the N95 rated masks too? Ugh.
People should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. But it's not.
And then later, the guidelines were changed. Thus why the right now is important in what he said.
Providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course.
And you gotta love the fact that they have the I Heart Fauci mask and the Black Lives Matters mask and Civil Duty mask. And this isn't propaganda. I mean, please stop. But this is the one that got me. This is a mask for a show called Ricky and Morty.
Close enough.
You guys know I don't watch cartoons or any of that stuff. I really don't watch anything, but maybe some things to distract myself. But Ricky and Morty, I did a video. It's on my website. I cannot upload it here. They
He turned into a pickly. It was the funniest shit I've ever seen.
will not allow it up here, and it will get my channel taken down. There is a short film by the creator of this show. So let's put this in perspective. CNN is promoting this mask with the show Ricky and Morty.
Yeah, Rick and Morty's like one of the most popular shows on TV.
There's nothing funny
The
about
fan base can be cringe, and a lot of memes about it are hilarious, but like, it's a good show if you haven't seen it. As Compu says, I don't watch anything. Does this guy not believe in recreation?
The creator's name is Dan Harmon. Dan Harmon is supposedly supposed to be funny. He's the creator of the show.
Dan Harmon can be pretty funny. That doesn't mean everything he does is funny, but yeah, he can be a pretty funny guy.
He's a millionaire. You can look at him and look in his eyes and tell what he is, but you don't even need
Wait, what do you mean? What are you talking about?
to do that or pass judgment because he's shown you. He has short films where he goes to therapy, talking to the therapist about his craving for infants.
I would imagine these are comedy shorts.
And he has a short film up where he shows himself literally, well, I can't explain it, but use your imagination, going up to a little doll baby while the parents are asleep, pretending it's a real baby, and just doing the most disgusting, vile acts. And this is supposed to be humor. And this is a guy.
Okay. Dan Harmon can be like too edgy for his own good to a cringy extent. But that doesn't mean he's literally eating babies.
Guy being promoted by CNN. This is a guy making millions of dollars. Nobody's saying get his show off the air, get him fired, or anything like that. Investigate him. And CNN puts that on the map.
Investigate him for what? For a comedy sketch? You can't investigate people because you don't like the comedy sketch they made.
To promote in their ridiculous commercial. How about the middle finger right at you, CNN? And
Yeah, because that's Ricky from the show Ricky and Morty, and he gives the middle finger. That's a thing he does. There's an episode where he goes inside his car battery, which has a whole planet in it, and has a whole universe with a planet, and he tells the citizens of the planet that the middle finger means peace among worlds. Like, it's an adult animated show. People are going to give people the finger occasionally.
here's an extra FU for your ridiculous propaganda trying to.
Does this count as ritual child abuse? I would say so. I think he's implying it. Do I have it? Ritual child abuse. I don't think I have it. That sucks.
To shame people into wearing
Do I watch Harmon Quest? I watched the first season. I'm caught up on the next two.
a mask when the guy who's supposed to be protecting and leading us in this absolute bogusness has even openly said in the beginning we don't need masks. We saw him a week ago throughout the first.
Okay? People are fallible. You understand that, right? And then later when they say, hey, sorry, our bad, yeah, wear a mask. What's the issue? No one is claiming people are infallible. And this is what I don't get about these people. From what we understand based on the evidence at this point, yes, masks help stop the spread, or slow the spread, rather. But even if, like, 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, we found out it did nothing, then what? All you did was wear a cloth on your face for, like, some months. It doesn't hurt you. It's fine. There is no downside to this.
First pitch at the Nationals-Yankee game. Well, if you want to call it a first pitch. And look at him in the stands with his mask off, sitting side by side, not even...
Yeah, that's his family. If there are people that you live with in your house, you don't necessarily have to wear masks around them because you're going to be living in the same house together, having contact with each other, breathing each other's air in enclosed spaces. Like Baja and I. Baja and I will go out, you know, to get either groceries or dinner or whatever, and we'll wear masks. But when we're in the car or we're at home with each other, we don't. Because why would we? If one of us gets sick, the other is going to get sick. No one's telling you to wear a mask inside with your family. So if you're out with your family alone, and there's no one around you, like the image of Fosse with his family there at the ball game, and there's, like, you know, rows and rows of seats around them with no one in them, it's fine. You're fine. It's fine. You don't have to wear a mask around your family members when you're going to be in contact with them constantly anyway.
social distancing, let alone wearing his mask. And we're supposed to
You don't have to social distance with people you live with.
listen to these people. When will the
Clearly this person hasn't even, like, read guidelines. Yeah, let me be clear, we pick up dinner. We don't go in and eat. I want to be clear on that.
American people
Thank you, Baja.
wake up? And this is the other tactic that I've noticed through repetition and mind control. Because, again, remember, it's just about looking at patterns and remembering patterns and looking at stories. Remember, I always say, every day there's a new story. Oh, you know, this guy got married yesterday. Today he's gone. Shouldn't have had the wedding. Caught the outbreak spread. Right? And just making people more and more nervous to even attend any type of event or have a wedding or anything like that. These are the other stories that keep popping up, which couldn't
Wondering if I got the invite to the debate Sunday? Yeah, I'll check it out after the stream. Sorry, I didn't get back to you on it.
be more ridiculously bogus. You don't even need to debunk it and look.
People actually want to eat in right now. Oh, in my city, like when we drive around to go pick up our dinner, like last Saturday, we went to go pick up some stuff from like an Uno's Pizza. Every restaurant we passed by was packed. It was disgusting. So sit tight, folks. We're going to be dealing with this for the next year and a half, 2 years. No one is taking this seriously.
Look at footage and evidence because the stories are so outrageous.
Debate. Oh, we're planning on doing a debate on modern day debates about abortion.
That you would have to be so dumbed down to think that a guy was going to go to prison for murder for the rest of his life for shooting an absolute stranger in a store because they demanded he wear a mask. I can't show you the article, but you can
Wait, what?
look it up for yourself or go on CNN. Man charged with, blanking an employee after being asked to wear a mask in a cigar shop.
Yeah, because crazy people like you whip people up into a frenzy about something as simple as wearing a piece of personal protective gear in order to keep them and other people around them safe. You turn it into this politicized issue tied to all sorts of crazy conspiracies, and then people get way too defensive about it and then refuse to do so. And then when someone tells them to do it, some of them are gonna freak out and do really, really stupid stuff. Old enough to know more better says the fact that movie theaters are both open and packed to the gills should be criminal. I agree.
These stories come out almost every day. Oh, this man, Adam Zabrowski, entered a Cigar International place in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on Friday morning without a face covering, according to a probable cause affidavit. Staff at the shop told him that he needed to wear a mask inside the store or could have his order taken curbside, according to the affidavit.
The Stellar Sea Cow says, with 25 bits, really in DC the tables are all 10 feet apart and they use as much outdoor space as possible. When I went out to a restaurant, they were only seating people outdoors with 10 feet between the tables. Honestly, even so, you really shouldn't go out and eat. I don't know why anyone feels the need to go out and eat. It seems very strange to me. MMO Addicted with 100 bits. I sometimes go out to eat. Our restaurants have to have screens put up around whatnot, but I also live in a country which locked down early, and my city hasn't had new cases in 2 weeks. Yeah, I get that. If you're in a country that has this under control, that took it seriously at one point, and everyone actually listened to healthcare professionals, I get it. You're probably in a space where you guys can start reopening things slowly. In the United States, we're not, because people in the United States are selfish. They're selfish, self-interested children.
The guy became irate, grabbed 2 cigars from a shelf, exited without paying.
Yeah, that's thievery. That's theft.
Okay? Oh, wait, there's more. A store employee followed him in the parking lot to retrieve the merchandise. According to the reports, he fired his weapon in the air before firing 2 rounds at an employee and, of course, killing the guy.
That's messed up. And he was probably goaded on by the belief that he was justified by people like A Call for an Uprising, who claimed that people who don't wear masks are these actually, we're the secret freedom fighters. No, you're not. You're selfish. Stop trying to paint your selfishness as heroic. It's not. You're cowards. Stop it. Stephen J. Neptune Man with 50 bits. What we're witnessing right now is what happens when you combine incompetent leadership plus weasel grifters spreading lies and misinformation on the internet, plus a public that follows these leaders and listens to these grifters, yeah.
Right? So there's a guy who's 35. He's gone through the nightmare of the schooling system. He's 35. He's lived half his life, and he's ready to go to jail.
He's
for the rest of his life because some guy told him to put on a mask. This is...
Yeah, some people are nuts, dude. Like you, for instance. I'm not saying you're gonna go out and do what this guy did and commit a crime, but nonetheless, it's very clear that you're still someone who believes that using a mask is not only not necessary, but somehow an infringement on your rights, which it is not. Is it that shocking to you that some crazy out there is going to get so heated about this that he's going to physically harm someone? Like, that makes sense. Your argument that, oh, he's 35, he's going to throw away his life over this? People throw away their lives over stupid things all the time. If what you're saying was a valid argument, no one would ever commit any crime ever. So what a weak, weak argument.
This is how they fear people into doing it and making sure they wear it. That's all that this stuff is. This is propaganda at its finest. Because this isn't the first story. This is a pattern of stories that keep coming out. I always say this because you have to think about it. Nobody is going to, who isn't protected by a gang or something like that, nobody's going to go into a store, a cigar shop, you know.
What? Do you think no one commits theft ever if they don't have a gang? That's a ridiculous claim. What?
Refuse to put it on and be willing to risk the rest of their life in prison where they know they're going to get caught because there's cameras everywhere. It's over 2 cigars. So the rest of his life, he kills some stranger. Not somebody he had a personal problem with, not somebody his wife
He
cheated
clearly had a personal problem with him based on the fact that he did what he did.
on him with, or anyone he's known who's done him wrong. Some guy he's never seen or known, or has no clue who the person is. And instead of, when the guy confronts him, giving him the cigars back, he decides to do that because he wanted the cigars so bad and he was so irate over the mask.
Yes, I agree, that's ridiculous, but people do ridiculous things all the time. Like, what is this argument? Oh, people wouldn't act this irrationally. You're literally in a video right now where you're screaming about not having to wear, like, not wanting to wear a mask. You are almost as crazy as this guy. You just haven't committed a crime yet.
Give me an absolute break. These are the stories and the patterns that they continue to create because they want to fear you into wearing them. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of states, well, it doesn't matter if they fear you into it or not. They literally have security outside of stores where you can't get into the grocery store without it.
Good. Good. If you think that you have the right to not wear a mask, which you don't if you're in a state where there has been an order placed where you have to, but let's say you're not. If you believe that you have the right to not wear a mask, then the store, as a private entity, also has the right to say, no, we're not letting people without masks into the store. You can't have it both ways. You can't say you have unlimited freedoms to hurt others, but private entities outside of you don't have the right to protect not only themselves, but other customers that are customers of their establishment, right? You can't say, I get all the rights with no exceptions, and you get none. This is how children think. You are not an adult if you think this way. You're just a very old child who's never been told no before. Guess what? No. No. And you need to hear it. No. You don't get everything you want. I'm glad that you've had a privileged enough life that you've never been told no before. What a fantastic windfall for you. But guess what? We don't live in a perfect world, and viruses don't care whether or not you think you have the right to not wear a mask. You don't. It's gonna infect you anyway. So go away, and if you don't want to wear a mask, then commit yourself to staying inside until a vaccine is created, because you're doing nothing but harming the people around you. You selfish, selfish monster.
And that's a fact. So they're even going out there and creating fake stories just to make sure that nobody forgets.
It's not fake. It's not. That happened. A person was hurt because someone like you refused to be a part of society. And unfortunately, as much as you people want to be, you're not Joaquin Phoenix. You're not the Joker making some big stand about, like, we live in a society that's making me do this thing. No, you should just behave and understand that in the social contract, you do have rights, but you also have responsibilities. And if you're not willing to shoulder those responsibilities, then why should anyone care about your rights?
For those who do, to make sure you have it on. Because, the worst of the worst can happen. End up in a violent altercation with a complete stranger, because everybody who goes to the cigar shop is carrying, right?
That's not... What kind of argument is that? Like, oh, everyone who goes to the... No one's saying everyone who goes to the cigar shop is carrying, but the individual who committed that crime was, and they used it to commit a crime. What an awful argument. This guy's the worst.
That's what they're thinking about. I'm going to go get some cigars at the cigar shop, let alone the fact that Pennsylvania is one of the states that still hasn't got, completely opened most places, and cigar shops are open, let alone the fact, how are you supposed to go to a cigar shop? Because you're supposed to be able to smoke. So why would you need the face covering if you're going to go in there and smoke a cigar? What are you supposed
You don't smoke a cigar in a cigar shop, you idiot. You buy a cigar there, take it home, and smoke it. What? Do you think people go into a cigar shop and stand there and smoke their cigar? It would be like me going into a liquor store, buying, you know, a fifth of vodka, and having 3 drinks right there. That's not how it works.
to do? Cut a circle in the middle of the damn thing?
No, you take it home and you smoke it. Do you not understand how cigars work? Do you not understand that there's a difference between a cigar store and like a cigar bar? They're different things, idiot.
Like a glory hole and smoke the cigar? It's disgusting. Even the thought of the fact, the whole thing is just unbelievably non-realistic. So these are the things I wanted to point out to you. The CNN ad promoting Dan Harmon's show. Pretty funny, right? Not at all, actually. Go on my website. Watch the video on Dan Harmon. All you gotta do is go into the video tab and search for it and find it. It is the creepiest, trust me, and I'm not just saying that. It is at least one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in my life.
Apparently you haven't seen the Rick and Morty short film that started the whole franchise. If you think whatever comedy bit you're talking about is disturbing.
In my life, that got passed off as humor, and they let these people walk freely. They don't investigate them, and they make millions and millions of dollars, and people don't protest against that. But they'll protest against someone like me objecting to pride parades or something, because I think that, you know.
Yeah, people are gonna protest against you when you try and silence people who are trying to celebrate their identity in a world that for most of its history has demonized them. What a psycho. Daddy Sume with 10 bits. A lot of cigar shops here double as cigar bars or have lounges for smoking, and my last job was working in one. I also had a lot of a-holes. A lot of scummy, creepy dudes smoke cigars. I mean, holy crap. I had so many a-hole Republicans who came into my store, yeah. I'd imagine at this point, even if a cigar store normally has a cigar bar, the bar part's probably closed right now. Stephen J. Neptune Man with 10 bits. I think these anti-maskers think they're Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, but they're really more like Jared Leto's. True.
No, I don't agree with them. And they'll say, that's hateful, or Desmond is amazing, or any of that stuff. But that's okay for this guy to do that. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. You'll know what I mean, and you'll just...
It's okay to do comedy bits, friendo.
Be
it's kind of part of the First Amendment. You can, like, have your speech and your artistic expression, and comedy skits are basically that.
Horrified. Horrified. So here comes the mask guilt shaming shoved right down our throats. And again, the website is a call for...
You should feel guilty. Good. Shame. Shame. Insert that gif from Game of Thrones where they're shaming.
.com. It's $2.99 a month, and if that video is one you want to see, again, search for it under Dan Harmon, and probably is also tagged under Ricky and Morty or whatever the show's called. But,
Ricky and Morty.
Unfortunately, there's no freedom here on YouTube at all, so you can't share much of this stuff. But over there, I can share it, so check it out. You'll definitely enjoy the website if you haven't tried it already. And maybe I'll actually even just re-upload it to the top so it's right there in the video section so everybody can...
Okay, let's take a look at this Dan Harmon sketch. Videos. Oh, I'm not gonna sign into your stupid conspiracy website to watch this damn Harmon video.
See it. I want to make sure people can see it and be able to find it.
It's kind of cringe. Oh, I bet it is. A lot of Dan Harmon stuff when he's not working with others who rein him in is really, really cringe. Dan Harmon can write, but he has a tendency when he's like not being edited, when he doesn't have other people in the room to kind of like and be like, that's not that funny. And this is the thing with a lot of creative people, by the way. There's nothing wrong with being creative within the bounds of having other people there to tell you no. All, like, art forms that are in the vein of, like, television writing or movie writing or anything like that, they're usually a collaborative process, so it's good if you have good ideas, but even the best people with really, really funny ideas are going to need some people to tell them no sometimes, you know? Don't watch it on stream? Okay, we don't have to. If you think it's like TOS, that's fine. Anyway, that's enough of a call for an uprising, I guess.